In this lesson, we'll be working on a quick project to review transparency and effects. If you'd like to follow along, go under your File menu to Open, and in the Working Files folder, go into Chapter number 14 and select a file called Creating a Transparent Design, and just click Open. I'm going to scroll over a bit just to make room for the dialog window. And I'm going to select this background red-filled object with the white stroke. And I'm going to apply an inner shadow to make this look like a beveled mat. I'm going to go under my FX pop-up to inner shadow. And I'm going to increase the distance just a little bit, and also increase the size of this inner shadow. Let me just move this up a little bit so we can see it better. And that really does look like a beveled mat. Let me just add a little bit of noise, about 5 or 6%, and I think we got it. I'm just going to click OK. Now, I really want to apply that same inner shadow to this photograph. I know that in a lot of places in InDesign, I can click and drag from a panel to an object to apply something. Like when we talked about swatches, I can click and drag swatches to fill an object or stroke an object with a particular color. Well, I wonder if I can do this. I have my inner shadow object selected, and you can see there's actually an FX icon next to object. I wonder if I can click and drag that FX icon over the top of the picture, and it looks like it's not going to let me do it. But let go, let's see. And it actually worked. Now it looks like a double mat. Really kind of cool. Now I'm going to select the text frame that has my headline in it, and I'm going to apply a drop shadow. So I'm going to select my text listing in the panel and go to my FX pop-up and go to drop shadow. And the default is not bad, but maybe it's just a little bit too dark. So let me go down to 50% for opacity. That's better. And also I'm going to add some noise so it looks less computer generated, and click OK. Well, I also want to apply that same drop shadow effect to the bottom line. So with the top line still selected, I'm going to click and drag the FX icon to that bottom text frame and let go. And it added exactly the same drop shadow. I'm going to select this cyan colored square over the top of my red stripe, and I'm going to apply a different blending mode. I'm going to go to my blending mode pop-up, and how about I select multiply? So it's making the red underneath it much darker. I'm also going to add a drop shadow to the text on either side of my cyan colored square. And it's in the same frame, so I only have to do it once. I'm going to go to my FX pop-up to drop shadow. And once again, the default is not that bad. Maybe it's a little bit too soft, so I'm going to make the size less. How about 0.03? And click off of it to see if that works better. It's a little bit too dark. Let me go down to like 50% opaque. And I'm going to add a little bit of noise. How about around 5%? And click OK. I also want to add a drop shadow to this red object, this red stripe going across the bottom. So let me go to my FX pop-up to drop shadow. And because this is falling over the top of white, I probably don't want to be this opaque. I'm going to go all the way down to 40%. and increase the size a bit to soften it, and click OK. Well, I think I want to apply that same effect to the cyan blue square. So I'm going to click on the effect and drag it to the blue square and let go. So I've applied my effects throughout, and I have a very cool transparent design. In the next lesson, we're going to begin discussing printing.